also we have, which I'll show you when we go into practical life, like mixing different colors.
It's just like with the bells. When you're an adult, it's much harder for you to hear that if you haven't had the discriminatory sense refined. And so the child who grows up with this, it has a more refined eye. And we as adults, or I as an adult, don't.
One of the drawers, but there are 6 different drawers, and basically what they would do, I wouldn't usually have all of these 3 rows set up. We would start with just the solid shape, and it would be
Of course.
Tracing the shape. But this is different from that one.
Yes.
It's different, a little different, but also preparation for that. And then, tracing the shape here and then matching it. And then doing that with all the other ones. And then it gets harder as the line becomes thinner for them. So it's really worked on looking at the exactness of the shape.
What's the purpose of having like a solid color and then you have this over here and then the line, like the line gets finer? What's the purpose of that?
Just to help, this is much easier.
Yes.
It's just going from just easier to more complex.
Oh, okay. Just to refine this.
Yeah, to refine the sense of, their
Visual.
either visual sense for looking for that, like, the exact shape.
And they might sometimes put them on different mats, and you'll show them the shape, and, they can visually remember the size of that after it's well refined. They know which size circle that you're showing them or that they've experienced and go get you each card. Yeah, because they've got the visual refinement. And that's the purpose, is to constantly be reinforcing it. It looks like it's an easy work, but it's not. It's not for them. Not when they first start. They're trying to fit it and they can't quite get it. But that's why they keep trying to master it. Sorry.
So how
Between, I would say like 4 to 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
I would say starting 3.5.
And they would start with just, these in the inset itself at 3. And then they'd move on to the cards at 3.5 lupe.
And this is the square of the and you can maybe help me explain.
Okay.
The
Square of Pythagoras.
Yeah.
Mathematical. This is. Do you want me to just?
Yeah.
Okay. The square of Pythagoras is what takes you from mathematics into geometry, into algebra, and it was set up with 1, which is the little red one. 1 taken one time is always 1. And then the green is representative of the 2. 2 taken one time, 2 taken, on both sides. And then that is the square of 2, 2 taken 2 times. 3 taken one time, 3 taken one time, 3 taken 2 times, 3 taken 2 times, 3 taken 3 times, and on and on and on to 10 times. And then when you put these all together, you'll find there's 10 squares of 10, 9 squares of 9, 8 squares of 8, 7 squares of 7, 6 squares of 6, 5 squares. But this is only the sensorial. All they're doing is matching the sides and the colors. Then they'll do it in mathematics.
And then also it relates to beads that we use in math. So they're the same color as the beads and the beads there. So
They associate it, right. So the mathematical mind is like a chart, and that's what we're setting up for them. Maria Montessori set up. We're just kidding.
Okay, and that's the very last lesson of Sensorial. So if anyone, I don't know if anyone has any other questions about Sensorial or anything that I can help you with.
Well, there's
Or
also
is it
the like the cylinder blocks and the constructive triangles that are in those 4 boxes at the top to show that all mathematics or all figures can be built with triangles. So it's the basis for trigonometry. It's just simple exercise to make a trapezoid, square, rectangle, rhombus. You do.
Well, what's the purpose of all this math? You are just basically trying to
Isolate the work.
what does it tell to a child? This is my
Order.
area.
This is order. Yeah. You're setting the scene for your exercise, and then it keeps everyone else from bothering your exercise, as well as it establishes in their mind how to, be controlled. Then they put their work away and they start a new work. They just don't leave it out.
That sense of real satisfaction when we've been here on the walkthrough days and the children are rolling up their mats. It's like this total
Completion.
And you just see in their bodies, my mat is done.
Yeah, and it is. And they walk back and they place their mat down, and then 5 seconds later they pick up the mat and do another work. And it's it's a cycle of activity.
And the kids will respect each other's space.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
We practice actually. I'll put a rug in the middle of the room, and I'll have them practice walking around the rug very carefully, because just to show that it's very important. Don't step on the rugs and don't step on someone else's work, and when we set up our rugs on the floor, that it's not too close to someone else. You have to be able to walk around your rug. So these are the constructive triangles. And
And at first it's just simple exercises of putting the black lines together, but then it develops into language and they learn the names of them. And then they move on to just blue triangles that are exactly the same as this, but they're blue with no black lines, and they can build whatever they want. And they come, oh, I did a trapezoid. Oh, I have a rectangle. I have a parallelogram. And you're like, you can see how they progress and what areas they're going towards. That helps us. It's like a key to what else they're going to do.
And then also, these are the knobless cylinder blocks. And they're really the cylinder blocks that they first used. And there's also 4 boxes, and they're the same dimensions as
Each block, yeah.
Those will be harder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, these are much harder. And
So with that, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to
they're supposed to put it in order from the biggest to smallest. And here, there's a control error because they're going to see when they put it in if it doesn't fit. But here, it's really just them based on what they've done with the.
Have you ever had experience where a child is using a blindfold and they're able to put everything together?
Yeah, we haven't done that yet, but we'll take all
That's
4
part
of
of the
them.
lessons, right?
Yeah, we have had children take all 4 of them together and do it.
Oh.
Yeah, but we haven't tried it blindfolded yet. We should do that. I'm sure there's children that can do that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think someone did the
Trinomial.
trinomial cube blindfolded.
Yeah, I heard about it in the upper class. We even heard about it in there.
You should explain this one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is, we start out from all, you would point out to the child that this and this are the same. So you can see that those are the same.
And then black touches black.
Mhm.
Red touches red.
Yeah, of course.
So this is, they learn the shapes and the color, dimension. This is a binomial.
Theorem. This is the binomial theorem.
So how would they know if, that it's a binomial, or how do they associate that with binomial?
When they get in my grade.
Yeah, I mean, they don't get into that.
They just know the name of it.
Oh, okay.
I was impressed when they knew the name.
Yeah.
Joseph came home and said, I did the binomial cube. And
It was like, oh,
really?
I have students that come back from high school and say, you had us doing that, and now we see why. Yeah. Yeah, it is. And they have cubing material in the upper grades that they're building with the same colors, but they're the cubes of the colors. And they're building the binomial and trinomial theorem with those cubes. And even Kalen learned how to do it in our class, and he's in here.
And then the trinomial cube adds another color and more dimension.
C cubed.
It's tough.
And they really love it because it's sort of like, their graduation when they can do that. And and they have to show you. I mean, they'll call me over and say, I can do the trinomial cube, and then you watch. Every bit of it. Yep.
And then I looked at the bells before, but this is part of the auditory. And we would, start out with 3 different bells, and we'd take them to a table and just kind of we show them to it very gently. Some of them will try to bang.
Yeah.
But, and what we'll do is just like matching the sound cylinders, we would match the different tones of the bell to each other. And
The refinement, much with it, but the matching, they'll take 3 bells at a time at first. First they learn how to play them, then they take 3 and they match 3, then they match 5, and then they match all 8. And then you do a lot of singing with the bells. So the first, this row here, this brown row, is the control, and you match it with the back. And now, right now it's in order, but you'd of course take them and mix up the white ones. Then after they've learned that, you can put them in different parts of the room. Play a sound. Go find it. And then they go bing, 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 no, find the sound. They bring it back, they find, yep, they matched them. So that refinement and remembering it is part of the stereognostic too, but it means that they've mastered it. And of course, it's just for the ear. The chrome bars in the elementary are for singing, so that's to match your voice to it. But this is where they first learn the ear and the tone.
it's nice to have it. It's my first time having those like this.
And they're playing them, in the background. They're matching them, and you can't. There's 3 tables of 3 bells each table, and they're gently dinging, and it's like, sounds like Tinker Bells.
Yeah. It's really nice.
It is.
So my question is, you have so many students, and the teacher, of course, play a very important role to observe, right? And then from there, you prepare lessons for them. Obviously I'm not a teacher, but that's quite a challenge, because you have to, at the back of your mind, you have to know each and every child where they are and, what they've done before.
It is hard, but that's why we have a lot of record-keeping papers, and I keep, for each week, I have a kind of a chart set up, for each child, and what lessons I want to give them, or what lessons I've given them, what work